All right, what's going on? Change of scenery for this video. It's a little too hot right now for the car things out here in LA. I really like the sound of it, but for the time being, I'll use the editing house when I can, or try to record it before the sun gets out. But at least we got a plan B. We just got back from the desert party. It's been a crazy weekend over here in LA. Lost one of the greats, Nipsey Hussle, community activist, leader, rolling 60s rapper. Just kind of like, definitely an OG for me, And it's just somebody that, coming up in the independent hustle game, of all art form, somebody that, definitely looked up to, and a lot of other people probably looked up to. We lost him to violence, and so this video, I don't know, I just kind of wanted to talk about it a little bit, touch on it a bit about success, mindset, and where you're choosing to plant your seeds, because essentially, I don't think a lot of information is going to come out on the news about it too much, because people aren't going to be talking too much about what happened and releasing too many reports. But for the people that are out here that kind of just are around and, got family members in other places, and, we can ask questions and figure out how things really go down out there. It's no mystery to what the cause is, what the actual situation was, that's up to whoever was there. But what the cause and effects are is the same in a lot of places. And the rap industry's been losing great people, influential people for a long time. And the inner cities have been losing great people for 50 years now, 40, 50. Pretty much after the 60s, when the black economy tried to sustain itself and kind of got swept up in this wave, and we've had, bouts of poverty ever since. It just hasn't been a good sight. And what that kind of breeds is people that, it's one thing, like, I found a lot of people quoting the conspiracy theory thing, and they're saying, oh, it's because he was doing this documentary. And when I see things like that, it just makes me think like, okay, you're not really around LA or Chicago or Houston or Florida or any place where there's pissed off people that are poor. Because if you are, these young boys don't care. They don't care who you are. They don't even have the time or the wherewithal to look up all the shit that someone's doing for a community. Business-wise, economics-wise, they're not looking into things like that. And these young boys, they're pissed. They're hurting. They've been hurting. They don't have a lot of things to tell them no, or even a guideline on how to handle things. And, 33 years old, and I'm in my 30s. I'm in my early 30s, and we just are barely getting out of that mindset when you reach your 30s, But I knew a lot of people that were definitely still into a lot of wild, violent shit well into 24, 25, 26. So you think about kids that are like 16, 17 that are still around shit, and, they're listening to music that supports a lot of gun violence still being made. It's getting more and more watered down than it was back when I was growing up, when we had Snoop Dogg and Ice Cube and shit to listen to, where, you know, you get songs like It Was a Good Day, and you get songs like No Vaseline, you know, and they got the whole, they're telling the whole story of the hood, you know, where right now people are just stuck on the violence and the clout chasing, you know. In this society, you know, like we had a thing going on last year, the No Lacking Challenge, where people would just run up to people with a gun, and if you didn't have a gun, like the correct response to the challenge was to draw a gun back on that person that drew the gun on you, so that you weren't lacking. And these are what's funny right now. We live in a prank culture. We live in a you know, trap music culture right now. Internet fame, internet beefs, disrespect, notoriety. People don't respect each other. People ain't helping each other. Everybody's an individual. And what went down with that young man yesterday, it was real harmful to see that. And I've seen it. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen at parties I've thrown, you know, where somebody just gives somebody a wrong look and then they go off and they handle it somewhere else, you know. And that's the vibe that's been going on. And you know, we've lost the Jacket, we've lost Mac Dre, you know, Keep the Sneak, you know, was shot and he's paralyzed. You know, we're lucky we still have Too Short and E40 and things. And you know, my stepdad is from a real area in LA, and he moved out to Orange County to raise his sons, you know. And it's for reasons like this, you know. LA's fun. It's hard to leave, you know. And granted, if you move to Orange County from here and you were on, say, something like Crenshaw and 55th, and you had your store there on Crenshaw, and then you moved to Orange County, you're gonna be missing a lot of the fun experiences, a lot of the stories, a lot of the things that makes me have an easy time writing, because I've seen so much shit and I know how things play out in different kind of ways, you know. You're gonna lose a little bit of that. You're gonna lose a little bit of those stories, and you're gonna have to play a slower game. And that's not what always drives you and pressures you to be motivated. But just being in your own area also shouldn't be the only thing that drives you to be motivated, even if it is, you know, it's a real town, it's fast, and there's change that needs to be made. And you feel like you can get complacent going to a place where everything's already set up, everything's already slower and easier, and you're just doing kind of back end deals. And on top of that, you're an outsider. You know, if you're from the city, you're an outsider if you move to Orange County or certain neighborhoods in the valley, and you can't go to any other hoods because people are gonna be noticing of you, you know, because they may know a little bit about you. So you've only really got two options when you're famous, or when you're at that level of success and you're from a community that's like that community, which is go to the suburbs and be bored, or stay where you're at. But you can't really bounce around to a whole bunch of places that are similar, because then you're gonna get some haters too. You know, there's haters everywhere. And not everybody can afford to move to Orange County or Playa Vista or whatever, you know. But you definitely got to do that. You definitely got to, like, nobody's going to take care of you, and human life is really short and fragile. I commend people like Kendrick Lamar, who bought a house way out in Antelope Valley, you know, far from LA. Because he kind of knows, you know, and I know a couple of these concepts too, you know. You don't want to be in where you grew up with your success, really, you know, because, I mean, it's one thing if you grew up in a place that has respectable people, and everybody has a different success story. You know, you got other people that became lawyers and you just happen to be the rapper guy. Cool. But if you got other people that are like still hurting, they're still losing family members. They're still, you know, their baby mamas are still into shit. They're still, you know, dealing with the realities of this income and this income brackets that we have set up. You're going to be the only successful person they know, and they're not always going to be having good days around you. And that's the thing, like, I'd rather have bad days around good people than bad days around real people, just for the fame. And, you know, I'm not saying that people shouldn't be not investing in their community. Not at all, but, you know, to get shot right in front of where the same community you built, it's terrible, you know. It's been a sad day. Very inspiring, you know, like all anybody could do is just move forward and let that story be told through the history of this place and through your works, you know, because it ain't gonna stop. And the people are still gonna be like that. But it's crazy. It's been crazy. So you know, I've got stories about being out in LA from when I was a kid till now. Even as of this year, it's still crazy. And I'm still always trying to make an effort to keep the crazy element out of my stuff. And yes, you know, it gives you edge. And yeah, you're real. And, you know, when we made it, it gets your adrenaline pumping. But at the end of the day, you know, like, I'm trying to live. I'd be happy just having a cabin out in Montrose, being boring as fuck, writing stories and making videos. And I don't need to be anywhere. I can help the community by bringing members of the community to where I'm at, that I fuck with. Like, I can't be there. I can't be there. And I'm learning it still, you know, like, sometimes I do kick it in a little bit of neighborhoods I shouldn't be in. And yeah, it goes right back to it. Like, man, I got too much shit to live for, man. I got movies I gotta produce and shit I'm trying to drop, and the fuck, you know, like, we don't see a lot of other communities knocking off doctors and lawyers and other people that are successful. Like, Stephen King ain't getting in the shootout, you know what I mean? So we got to think about where we're putting our focus and where we're planting stuff, you know, because this shit's crazy. But definitely a sad day for LA. And, you know, what can we say, man? R.I.P. Nip. The hood's going crazy. It's hot, you know. I'm staying out of there. I'm not fucking with no parties over there for a minute. Cause yeah, everywhere is tense. Everybody wants answers, and you know, when things like this go down, like, you just gotta let the city die down. It's not the first time we've been through something like this either in LA, you know. So it's protocol. You just kind of stay to your area, you know. You pour out some Hennessy, you roll a blunt, and you reminisce on the good. But man, that man had a family. That man was doing some great things, and nobody deserved to lose their life out there, especially not a man of that caliber on some shit like that. So yeah, that's all we got for today, man. Stay safe out there, y'all.